So you're going to look at me.
Okay.
And we're going to pretend Craig isn't here.
Okay.
Unless he goes in the water, then we'll fish him.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead and start with your name and then spell it for me, please.
Okay. I'm Elle Golutty, and you can spell it E-L-L-E, G of George, U-L-O-T-T-Y.
And what would be your title?
I'm a master's student in fisheries and wildlife.
Okay. Tell me about your research on the, I don't even know how to say
The
that.
north branch of the Au Sable.
Yeah. So tell me about the work that you're doing there.
Well, basically what I'm trying to do is sort of connect the effects of these habitat structures that we've been putting in, we meaning citizens of Michigan, since the 1930s and more recently by government agencies and angler groups. And we're trying to connect the relationship between those structures, the flow of the stream, and the fish that are present. So sort of figuring out if there's a structure here and the type of structure it is, how does that affect the flow of the stream, the way the stream characteristics are, and the fish that are present there. Now these structures are designed for trout, which in this case actually means brook trout and brown trout, one of which is a char and one is a salmonid. And both of those are very important to the local anglers because this is a blue ribbon trout stream. So it's world renowned, and it's a very important resource, not just for the anglers, but in general as a cold water transitional stream. It has a lot of value.
Okay. So why is it important in the state of Michigan to have this, and why is it important for the wildlife, the fish?
So the Au Sable is one of 16 natural rivers in Michigan, and it has over, I think, 180 miles of pristine waterway. And in the North Branch in particular, it's sort of unique to the system, to the watershed. It has a history of being sort of logged to the point where it's wider than normal for the amount of flow that's there. And so what the managers are trying to do is improve that and make it so that it's more suitable for trout and salmon. But as is, it's one of our very special resources. And so it's an honor to be able to work on this river that people love so much.
Did you have any experience with the river before you came to Michigan State, before you, or with waterways, nature, that kind of thing?
Oh, with nature, absolutely. But fisheries in particular is something that's newer to me than a lot of people because I come from an area where fishing isn't really as big. Very few people in my family fish. And I've sort of gotten people in my family to really appreciate it more. And I've interacted with people who love fishing so much and love the environment where fish are found. And it's really been inspiring to know that there's so many people who care about natural resources, because I've always loved nature, but it was actually right here on the Red Cedar where I realized that there's so much going on beneath the surface of the water. And even in this system, which is not as appreciated as it ought to be, there are beautiful and diverse fish coming through. We have salmon runs that come through right here. And this isn't, this is just a stream on campus. In Michigan, we have something very special. So I wanted to work on that system because it is so special, and it's an honor to be able to do that.
So,
Readjust. I'm glad the sun.
you good?
Just about.
Okay.
Trying to get rid of some of the buildings. Okay, I'm good.
Okay. So tell me about working with, who's your advisor for
Dr.
this?
Hayes.
Dr. Hayes. So tell me about working with Dr. Hayes and working with other grad students. What's it like working with Dr. Hayes, and then what's your interaction with other grad students, and why is that important to you as a master's student?
So there's sort of two parts to this. There's the on-campus part where I get to work with Dr. Hayes and the folks in my lab who are just really exceptional people. And they're members of local conservation organizations, Ducks Unlimited, Trout Unlimited, just really bright people who care a lot about the resource. And Dr. Hayes is the man, obviously. But the other grad students I work with really support each other. It's like a family in my lab, and if one of us is working on something and needs help, everybody comes and helps out with whatever it is. And so that makes it so we're able to accomplish more as a group. Now the other part is the agency part. I have partners in the DNR who are also exceptional, brilliant people. And like Neil Godby is my best friend in the DNR, and he's just the coolest guy ever. And he's the person who's sort of supervising my work on the North Branch, and I couldn't ask for a more supportive person to work for. So it's a really cool dynamic where we have these people at the university, we have these people outside of the university, and there's this network of just people who care and act as stewards of the resource and connect with all of those local stakeholders and the anglers. And it just ends up being this really, collaborative and dynamic system where everybody's benefiting from that group.
Did you do your undergrad in fisheries?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you came to Michigan State as a declared major or undeclared? How'd you get in fisheries and wildlife?
I didn't know fisheries and wildlife existed until I was a sophomore. I actually worked at the library, and my supervisor said to me, she was listening to my interests, she said, "You care so much about nature, why aren't you in fisheries and wildlife?" I said, "What? What's fisheries and wildlife?" And so as soon as I found out that fisheries existed, that's what I went and did, and I will never look back. It was one of the best things that happened to me, was finding out about this program, and now I get to do what I really love.
So tell me about,
When you answer, if you could look like right along here,
Okay.
that would be good instead of straight up at Eileen.
Okay.
That make it a little
Do you want me to
better eye contact. Yep.
do that
No,
thing?
you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
So tell me about, I guess, your family, you said your family doesn't have a background in,
Yeah.
so what's the reaction when you say to your parents, hey, I'm going to major in fisheries and wildlife?
You're not going to like this answer.
That's okay, it's okay.
Well, my uncle said to me, "Don't go to Cal College," when I said I wanted to go to MSU. And he loves me, and he understands what I'm doing now, and he really appreciates it because I've been able to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. But as far as my family, like my brothers and sisters, all are really happy for me because they knew that I was going to be an outside person. And as much as I know one day I probably will be in an office, but until then, I'm really enjoying being able to spend my time out in the field, out in the rivers that are in Michigan, walking through the woods, living in a tent. Those sort of things are pretty cool, and I get to go and do that every summer. And as far as the views of my family directly on what I'm doing, not everybody gets to contribute to something that affects so many people. And so it's a really cool opportunity that I have to apply my efforts to something that we all really believe in and we all really want, not just for generations that are here currently, but for generations that will follow us.
Okay. What else? Anything else?
I have a question. You can look right at Eileen.
Okay.
What puts a smile on your face every day when you come out here to do your work?
There's a saying in our field crew, and every day it comes up numerous times, but it's "everything is awesome." It's from a kids show, but everything is awesome when we get to go out and work in Michigan. We're picking blueberries on our way down to the river. We're running into anglers who are saying thank you for being here because they love this river as much as we do. And that's something that's really cool and really special. And yeah.
Good.
Did I answer your question enough?